All right, the new Tron movie came out, and it's really, really shit. I'm not a fan of the rest of the Tron movies. They're really boring, in my opinion. The technology wasn't really there for the movie in the 80s, and the 2010 one is kind of just remembered for its score, from what I can tell. It's just something that I feel a lot of people. There's like a cult following with kind of the Tron, the 2010 film, and it's not something that really resonates with me. I like the soundtrack by Daft Punk. Nine Inch Nails is doing the score for the new one. I love them. Downward Spiral is one of my favorite albums. Obviously, there's Jared Leto at the front of this movie, which is very funny. I don't know why they would think it would be a good idea to choose him. Literally anyone else would do a better job. Honestly, get Keanu for it. He's good at a robotic performance. Yeah, so I saw the movie pretty much only for the soundtrack. I listened to a little bit of it before it came out, and it was really fucking good, as I expected. It works really well in the movie. It's kind of all good about it, really. I forgot to take notes when I went to see the movie. So I pulled up to IMAX, not remembering my notes, and I'm like, fuck. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't really know what the point of taking notes is for, just because it's none of the movies in the franchise really make any sense. They're just kind of like tech demos with really good music, I guess. It's like honestly the best addition in the Tron franchise is probably the fucking roller coaster, just because that's what it is. It's a like a theme park ride, but whatever. The movie Tron Ares, it doesn't make any sense. Like Jared Leto is awful in it. He's yeah, but I mean, the rest of the performance it's like weird because visually the movie looks pretty good. Like visually, it looks great. Honestly, in IMAX, it has the expanded 190 ratio, and a lot of the scenes actually, a lot of the action scenes looks pretty good. Soundtrack really enhances it. Nine Inch Nails obviously great. They've done some of the Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, some of the best film scores of all time. But if that's kind of the only thing going for it, I mean, I guess it's worth a watch in IMAX. But like, I don't know. In the movie also had like just fucking stupid shit. Like the 80s nostalgia bait was really funny because it's like okay, I guess the original one came out in the 80s, so it was just really funny at a certain point when like Jared Leto was like, "Oh man, I love the 80s. The 80s were so great, man." Like, oh my god. And he has like the fucking Rubik's cube the like for the second half of the movie when he goes into like the 80s version of Tron. Oh my god, it's so funny. It's I don't know why they like it's such a weird because like Tron Legacy didn't even do well, I don't think, right? I don't think it did very well. It's just funny because it's like, all right, we're gonna try to reboot the franchise with Jared Leto. Yay. I mean, I could go into detail about why the movie doesn't really make any sense. That's kind of what I do for like movies I take notes on because usually if it's a shit movie, I'm not gonna remember much about it. But I mean, it's not really worth it for this movie in my opinion. There's probably gonna be a bunch of other people that are gonna write more in depth anal- an analysis of Tron. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. It's a 1.5 stars. I think I gave it out of 5. Yeah, I was kind of into it for like the first like 10 minutes maybe whenever they go into the grid. It's kind of cool, but other than that, yeah, it's a very obviously like a product movie. It's not my thing, obviously. It's something for the soundtrack if you're a Nine Inch Nails fan. It's maybe worth it for that, but yeah, probably gonna forget about it and listen to the soundtrack another time because it's very good. All right, another movie I saw was a horror film, interesting one called Good Boy. It's about a dog. I did take notes on this one. I remembered my note sheet. Um, yeah, so this is cool. They had like a little featurette at the end of the movie that I saw it in, or at least the theater I went to. Yeah, it's kind of cool. They like spent several years just filming like the filmmaker's dog, I guess. Seemed very it was cool to kind of watch how much effort they really just put into it, how very passionate. It's clear that they're very passionate about what they were making. Yeah, so really cool to see the behind the scenes stuff at the end. So very obviously very low budget horror film. um, believe I remember seeing the Shutter logo at the beginning of the film. But yeah, I don't really. It was good. It was pretty well shot. I can tell the director has a lot of potential with the camera. There's really creative movement and lots of framing that was really interesting. There's parts that are kind of indoors in the woods, so kind of typical stuff you'd expect from a horror movie of that nature. There was it's kind of like a supernatural movie with a bit. I wouldn't say body horror. It's mainly supernatural. Kind of the dog with his instincts, with his relationship with his owner. You don't really learn much about the main character. That was kind of one of the issues I had. There's nothing really going for him. He kind of is just there to like suffer, which is, I guess, I don't know what a horror movie is, but my main issues with the film were that I mentioned, and I guess my main complaint is something that I guess just is just I don't know if this is the director's first feature. I'll have to double check that, but very obvious that the audio is off in a lot of scenes. The audio had a lot of issues where it's like I guess it was 80. I don't know if it was ADR or but I would assume it was just because the characters would be talking and you couldn't see their lips, but at the same time, it would just be very. There would be points. There would also be some points where a character would be like the character in focus that's closest to what you're seeing, and there's a character probably let's say 15 feet away, that you can hear them at perfect volume. Maybe that's just a me thing, just how I watch movies, but I don't know. I feel like that kind of takes away a bit from the immersion. Yeah, the effects were not bad. Besides a couple scenes, there are some really cool effects with like the kind of infection with the main character that I really liked. And a scene that kind of was not as great. There was a glass breaking effect that was kind of shit. And there was also a scene with a head bash with no blood. I guess that's for a PG-13 rating, but whatever. There was still blood in the film, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they would like I don't know if the MPA like cherry picked that scene, but it was just kind of weird. But overall, it was a short film, probably about as long as I really needed to be. The pacing and sequence of events moved very fast. I liked watching everything happen. Not something I'd probably watch again, but it was it was good. I enjoyed it, and I gave it a 3 out of 5. All right, Urchin by Harris Dickinson. Yeah, I thought this was a great film. I was very solid. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't watch a trailer. It had a very good poster, a very good poster that I liked. That kind of caught my eye. So I'm like, yeah, this seems interesting. First of all, I think probably one of my favorite parts of the film soundtrack is great, fantastic. I love it so much. Very electric, very energetic. I love it. It's not used very much, but whenever it is used, enhances the scene very well. Very, very good soundtrack. It's pretty well shot. There's a good variety of interesting shots. Nothing that really is incredible or anything. Just very, very solid camera work. I liked the lead actor. His journey was a character journey and kind of character study that I really was invested in. I like his relationships that are shown in the film with either it shows his relationship with his boss, obviously, and then the relationship with the girl. Um, the I love how the movie kind of goes into a bit of a like surreal, like kind of some surreal elements to it. Weird. It kind of reminded me of a couple of the surreal moments that were in Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers. Actually, that's a movie I love. But a couple of the shots you kind of will know if you watch the movie. But yeah, really cool visuals with that stuff. There's that the whole ending of the film is I love. It's very just goes in with the surreal. uh, yeah, like I said already, I just love all the characters were pretty good. But the lead yeah, the lead is very good character journey. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film. That's kind of all I had to say about. There's I kind of want to. I would like to. I would enjoy a rewatch of this film. It's very solid, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. Okay, Roofman. This is a interesting one. The trailer was definitely something that kind of was. I saw this is one of those trailers where if you go to the movies a lot, you kind of see the same trailers over and over. This is one of them, and I liked it a lot. Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the concept and you kind of are thinking like, at least when I kind of saw it, I kind of lowered my expectations a little bit just because it looked a bit. I don't really know how to describe it. Like maybe Oscar bait is the word to describe it, but yeah, it was. I liked it a lot. Has it's kind of set mostly in the Toys R Us set. Like the production design is very well. The Toys R Us set they created is very cool. The time period is very accurate for 2004. I noticed some of the brand logos were like the 2004 logos for those respective brands. That was kind of a neat detail I noticed. I think a lot of people can relate to like growing up with Toys R Us and the sadness of the closure. That was something that was I just love the production design of this film. It's very well made. I liked how the camera was used because when you're in one location, you kind of have a lim. I don't really want to say a limit, but I feel like a lot of directors can just kind of take the easy route with the one location thing, or the limited locations thing. But I think there was a very good variety of shots. It wasn't anything crazy, but it's very motivated, and the comedic timing with a lot of the visual gags worked very well, just because of the way that the director moved the camera. Performance, I have it in my notes. The performances were all good until the kids had to act. Some of the kids weren't very good, but it's kind of what you expect, I guess. I liked a lot of the side characters. A lot of the side characters were very memorable. I liked Steve, his friend character, that I think, if I recall correctly, was making the fake identities for him. What's his name? The Peter Dinklage's character, Mitch. I think that's his name. I liked. He was very funny. I liked him. I liked. There was a very funny visual gag with the where he breaks into the where he breaks into the wrong building. That was very just the way that, like I said, with the camera, the way the camera is used leads to some very fun like visuals. And another thing I liked about this film, this is something that very few people will probably notice or complain about in other films, but the audio mixing in this film I noticed was very well done. I liked how it was used in the Toys R Us when it was empty, and there's certain scenes where he's talking with a bunch of people. All those people are, you can tell that he's in a. It kind of invests you in the conversation because everyone's talking over each other. You can't really hear one specific conversation. Yeah, it just was a very well communicated conversation scene. And I know that's just one scene, but there's a lot of little details like that I was just like, oh, like, okay, it's something that they took, that the obviously the, I guess, editors, sound editor, or whatever, who just has a lot of care with that. So that's obviously something I appreciate a lot, and a lot of my favorite films kind of are kind of have that perfectionist stuff. But I just liked that that was an aspect that they didn't skimp on. I found the character of Channing Tatum's the lead. I liked him a lot. He was a very interesting character to follow, and it was cool to see how they kind of went into the motivation of why he was doing the things he was doing. Oh yeah, and I have in my notes also, there was a weird cut to hide some nudity. There's a scene where he's running around like naked, and there's some weird cutting in that scene. That was just a little weird nitpick I had, I guess, where they cut around, so I guess they wouldn't show full frontal, but whatever. I thought a few of the intense moments, like I thought the camera work overall was solid. I thought a couple of the intense moments were shot a bit too close, in my opinion. I know that's something that a lot of directors have been doing. Obviously, I think I think that's something that can greatly enhance a film. I just think maybe in this one not so much, just because of the way there's a lot of wides in this film. Like you're kind of watching Tatum's character go through his journey. I don't really think the close-ups really match the film very well. Oh yeah, here's a big one. Mitch, like this, yeah, that's his name. The manager of the Toys R Us. There's a point in the film where Tatum's character he turns the security cameras off. He figures out how to do that, and Mitch, the manager of the store, he never checks the cameras. He never checks the cameras to make sure they're still working. Uh, that I mean, it's I guess kind of needs to happen for the plot. It's based apparently on a true story. Maybe that was part of it, but at the same time, it's like if that didn't happen in real life, what are they doing? I mean, come on, that's a pretty big. I guess I can't really complain if that did happen in real life, but I mean, yeah, weird. But that was kind of all I had to say about the film. It was really well made. I enjoyed it a lot. I would probably watch it again, honestly. It was a very enjoyable, breezy watch that I liked a lot, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. All right, last film I'll be talking about is something I drove a little bit of ways to see because it was playing in 35 millimeter, not near the theaters near me. Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro. Very excited. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Love the director. Pan's Labyrinth, probably my favorite of his. Also, obviously, lots of other great films by him. I had to say I was a little bit let down by this film, but I still was a huge. I enjoyed it very much, but I feel like there were definitely some aspects that were holding it back a little bit. Yeah, very very well shot. The movie looked amazing. The production design was just beautiful. The landscapes were amazing. There was a scene near the or a shot near the end of like an extreme wide shot that was just beautiful. I love shots like that, just showing off everything. Beautiful. Like the movie like is gorgeous to look at. All the acting was very good. Yeah, no complaints there. All the performances were great. I really liked Oscar Isaac as the lead, Victor Frankenstein. Amazing. I like how the movie was split in half, kind of. It's kind of split into two parts, with focusing on Victor and then the creature, which is something that kind of leads into one of my complaints is that there was a bit of a drag in the middle with the creature kind of finding his way, showing his reaction to violence and humanity, or with animals too. Um, it did. Even with that said, though, it was a 2.5 hour film that was paced very well. It didn't really feel like the length. And yeah, I guess going back to the some of that slog in the middle, that was another one of my complaints. Probably my main one is that some of the CGI effects don't really look the best. It's kind of weird, just because I could tell how much money was thrown at it. I don't know. It's I guess something I would expect for to look better, just because Guillermo del Toro's movies have looked so good in the past. Some of the CGI animals didn't look the best. There was some CG blood that was kind of weird. But I think the main thing was the CG fire in a scene where there's a massive fire and an explosion. It honestly did not look very good at all. I'm sure it's very dangerous to do that effect practically. So, there's limitations for how much you can do. It's something to point out just because it's like when you have this big production, I feel like that's just me, maybe. I love the it focus on is I love kind of whenever a movie has like a character journey that's focused on resurrection and rebirth. I find that a very fascinating concept and themes that are brought up in film. It's something I don't regret seeing. Obviously, I thought it was very good. I just kind of wish it was better in a few areas, like I mentioned, but it was still very solid, and I would probably watch it again just because, like I said, 2.5 hours. It honestly was very steady. It didn't feel like it was dragging or anything, so that's a very good sign for a movie that long. But yeah, I ended up rating this a 3.5 out of 5. That might go up or down depending. I kind of want to. This is kind of one of those films I want to like to rewatch at some point, but I don't know when that'll be. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about those movies I saw. So probably we'll look at the whatever I'm seeing next week and make reviews of those just because I would like to go more in depth with the stuff I see, just because there's only so much you can put into a joke review on the posts that you make on Letterboxd, I guess. So that's all I have to say.